to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, America's music venues are at risk of closing for good. They were among the first businesses to close and will be among the last to reopen. With a complete loss of revenue, America's venues need financial help now more than ever before. The National Independent Venue Association, or NIVA, has launched a new campaign called #SaveOurStages, a grassroots lobbying effort to get desperately needed legislation passed in Washington to help these venues hit hard by the pandemic. Over 1,300 independently owned music venues have signed on to this campaign, including many here in Northeast Ohio. For more information and ways to help, visit www.saveourstages.org. That's www.saveourstages.org.
Some of the following material may be found objectionable by members of the listening audience. Therefore, listener discretion is strongly advised.
Bugs in the bathroom transmits to a tower, log to a hard drive where you don't have the power. Look up, there's a hidden camera in the shade. Are you committing some type of crime? Satellites in the sky, GPS in the car. Don't think you're escaping, you get too far. Soon the planet chip, put it right inside your head. You do what they want instead. We ain't free, we ain't free, we ain't free. Surveillance society. Surveillance society. Surveillance society. Surveillance society. Eyes on the computers, cameras on the phone. You can try and be clever, you are never alone. They call it security, it's just like jail when they're going through your mail. They tell you one thing, and then they do another. They spy on your sister, spy on your brother. Who are they anyway? You can't believe what they say. It all comes down to you and me. We ain't free, we ain't free, we ain't free. Surveillance society. Surveillance society. Surveillance society. Surveillance society. This is where the promises break. There's no trust in the hands we shake. It's written in the laws we make. We're our own worst enemy, own worst enemy. You can feel it in your heart, feel it in your soul. No matter what you decide, you're not in control. We gotta take it back with some kind of revolution. That's the only way we can be free. We ain't free, we ain't free, we ain't free. Fuck this surveillance society. Fuck this surveillance society. Fuck this surveillance society. Fuck this surveillance society.
Hey folks, thanks for tuning in to Live from Cleveland tonight. We just heard Brent Kirby with the song Surveillance Society from the amazing compilation Analog Rebellion, Musicians Speak Out, which was produced, recorded, and released by the Ernest Tube in Bristol, Virginia. But they actually have roots right here in Cleveland, Ohio, with Clint Hawley and Dave Polster, who make up Well Made Music, LLC. They are a mastering company here in Cleveland. I don't think we had a chance to talk about this release a lot when it came out, but it is coming up on its 2-year anniversary on August 8th. You can listen to the compilation on theearnesttube.bandcamp.com. It features many Cleveland musicians, including Elizabeth Kelly, R.A. Washington, and Gretchen Pluse. Brent Kirby will be performing at the Music Box for Brunch with Brent on Sunday, August 30th at 12:30 p.m. That sounds weirdly familiar. No, you're not listening to Laying Down Tracks. What we are talking about on the show today is reopening our music venues after things were completely shut down by the government mandate for most of March, April, and May of this year. The Music Box reopened about 3 weeks ago, and they already have a full calendar of live performances and other music-related events. Today, we'll be talking with Michael Miller, the vice president and co-owner of Music Box, along with his wife Colleen, about how it's been going and how they intend to make ends meet with restricted capacity, new regulations, and some added cost. Maybe you're not yet familiar with the Music Box, who is celebrating their 6th anniversary as a venue on August 13th with Chris Hatton's classic rock Rewind. That's a mouthful. Stay tuned to learn a lot more about them next on Live from Cleveland after this brand new song by Madeline Finn, a recent performer at Music Box since their reopening. Just a piece of trivia here for you. If you go online to her YouTube, Jenna Fournier, who we actually had on the show last week as a part of our Musicians Roundtable, illustrated the lyric video, which is up now.
Tell me, what am I so afraid of? That someone might idolize me enough to spend all of their days crafting ways to cage me and hold the key. Tell me, what am I so disturbed with? The picture of being a queen, held on a throne in a sick person's mind, the ruler of everything. Maybe flattery, maybe causing a scene, still have nightmares about this sort of thing. What do you do when it's dark? What do you do when it's dark? What do you do when no one can hear you and no one can save you from harm? What do you do when it's dark? You know, fear is a delicate dance. She'll spin you around and tie both of your hands. Yeah, she'll force you to grow in ways you've never before, like the ivy slithers through the cracks. Maybe flattery, call it stone cold and mean, still have nightmares about this sort of thing. What do you do when it's dark? What do you do having coffee with the ghosts, doing all the things that scare me. I've been sleeping alone so that I may grow accustomed to the way it feels, and not treat it like an old friend when it tries to steal my breath from my body, when it tries to rock me like a ship lost at sea. But I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy, no. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy.
For people who might not be familiar with Music Box as a venue, can you tell me a little bit about the venue itself, when you guys opened, things like that?
All right, super. You know, we are one of the newer music clubs still in town, even though we will be celebrating our 6th anniversary this August. We opened in August of 2014. In fact, the opening weekend was the weekend of the gay games in Cleveland, and we were fortunate to get some of the major events at our venue on the opening weekend. So, but the club is right on the waterfront, literally. We have docks, boats can pull right up. We're part of the complex where Shooters is at one end, the Improv Comedy Club is in between, and then the Music Box is on the south end. We have just a great view of downtown Cleveland. It's a large venue. We have concert rooms on both the first floor and upstairs. So back in the day, this was the Coconuts disco. And so it was really built with high ceilings and you know, great views, all windows. We have beautiful outdoor decks off of both of the music rooms. And so downstairs, we feature a lot of really top-notch local talent and regional talent. And then upstairs, we've been fortunate enough to feature some big national touring artists. But we are a classic dinner and a show place. You know, we're seated. We don't have you know, a dance floor usually even. We're seated and people come early, they eat dinner, they get a nice bottle of wine, and then they turn and watch the show from their seats. We have an amazing sound system, and so it's a really nice experience for folks.
Tell me a little bit about what your first response was as this quarantine begins. We have, you know, the essential businesses only shut down. What was Music Box's response to that? And, you know, how recently have you been reopened?
Alrighty, we closed down, you know, by mandate, and that resulted in, again, the layoff of most of our staff. But a core team of managers stayed on board, and while we were shut down under the mandate, we actually worked on a bunch of fun projects to kind of improve some things around the club. We opened now, it's 3 weeks ago, right? We took a couple weeks after, you know, the mandate was lifted in mid-May. We didn't open until really mid-June. We decided to just kind of get the lay of the land, make sure that we fully understood all of the regulations. We also wanted to go out and visit some other restaurants to see how they were handling some of the regulations. And in that time frame, we produced a video that kind of depicts how we are handling everything. It's on our website. And, you know, be honest with you, I'm really proud. Our staff has taken everything to heart. They get their temperatures taken every day, their health assessment every day. They go right to work on sanitizing every square inch of the place every day. You know, they're not medical workers. They're, restaurant people. But so getting used to wearing a mask for 8 hours was a challenge, but they've stuck to it. And they wear their mask the entire time they're at work. And then we also, distanced all of our tables. Our capacity was cut in about half, but we really focused on making sure all the tables were properly distanced, including the ones on our riverfront deck. So we still are an indoor-outdoor situation. One of the fun things that we learned and has been stressed a lot is the importance of fresh air. And one of the nice things about the Music Box, only being 6 years old, we had a brand new air conditioning an HVAC system put in, so it only circulates fresh air. It doesn't use any internal air. One of the most modern in a music club in Cleveland, and that is an important aspect of keeping people safe.
You lucked out. That was a great investment. You didn't know it maybe at the time, but now it's it's really paying off. That's great.
Well, you're right. We didn't know it at the time, but it's kind of necessary. The old one was really broken down and not usable.
Right. So one of the big struggles that venues and clubs are having right now is obviously working with these new capacity limits. We obviously want to do our best and abide by these guidelines. We have to abide by these guidelines, right? But it really has affected how venues as businesses run because, like a restaurant, you're trying to make your numbers on full capacity. You're trying to have sold out shows normally in a normal situation. So what is the new capacity limits for Music Box? What are you really working with for each of these spaces that you have?
That's a good question. And again, we are a seated space. No one really, we don't have standing room on any show typically. So people sit in tables and chairs and they order dinner. Mm-hmm. So after spacing everything, our capacities did get cut almost in half. But that still is a fairly nice number for us because we are a large venue. So downstairs, we got cut to about 130 inside and about 60 outside. So in total, when that sells out, we're close to 200 people, which is still a pretty good number.
That's great.
Upstairs, the capacity again got cut in half, and that left us with 170 seats. And so, fortunately, we're a large space, and while it has significantly cut down on our revenues and our sales, what we felt was let's get open, let's give jobs to our good servers and bartenders, get them back to work. And right now, we're still in the process of learning about all of this and seeing how it's all working. We have to get, maybe a month or two under our belts to see how it's working financially. But it's certainly better than zero revenue. And
sure.
So, it just didn't make sense financially for us to stay closed when we were allowed to open. And again, with focus on safety of both staff and customers, we felt it'd be better to be open than just stay closed with no revenue.
We're going to talk shortly about the events that you have been able to have there, at least the concert kind of storytelling events that you've been able to maintain at Music Box. But first, I will ask you, keeping that in mind, has this changed business plans at all for Music Box? I'm so happy that you guys were kind of had a focus on dining to begin with, right? So you already had a really strong menu and you had you had really strong chefs working for you. So whereas we're seeing some of these venues now try to switch over to being more of a restaurant than they were before, you guys were really lucky that you already had that in place. But for kind of day-to-day operations, are you working more on marketing just people coming in to eat? Is that an option or can you only eat during a show?
That's a good question too. In the summertime, historically, we did get a lot of what you're describing, dining only, people that weren't here for the show. They came to dine on the riverfront, and we would fill up our riverfront outdoor deck many times with people that are here to dine. We're not doing that this year. We have restricted attendance to ticket holders only, people here to see the show and eat dinner. But fortunately, we've been using the front deck a lot for ticket holders and filling it up that way. So yeah, it's changed our model a little bit. We certainly also are paring down our menu. Believe it or not, we used to have a very extensive menu every night, and with the reduction in counts and capacity, we've been very careful to, again, make sure that we just don't have waste. We have been developing a lot of specials and a lot of prefix menu items so that people again, can tell us in advance what they think they're going to eat, and that helps us to be a lot more efficient.
That's extremely smart. One of the other questions that I have, and kind of transitioning into the shows that you've been able to have, can you tell me a little bit about the concerts and events that you've been hosting since reopening 3 weeks ago?
Well, one of the fun things we kicked off with, the regulations by the state of Ohio mandated that 6-foot distancing between tables. Well, we went the opposite way with our first couple weeks. We went with 12-foot spacing, and we created a series we called Table for Two, and we wanted to give people an even higher sense of safety. So we went that way and had all prefix menus, and we had a wide variety. We started with a classic rock show. We had Carlos Jones in for a reggae show. We had Rachel Brown in, and she did a great Patsy Cline tribute. So you've got reggae, you've got country, you've got rock and roll, and so that's the music box. We always cycle through a wide variety of formats and genres. And by focusing on, this table for two and really a lot of safety, our customers came back, and fortunately they find that they did feel very, very safe. And so now we're returning to kind of our normal cycle. It is still what we do, cycle through. This weekend we have a murder mystery. Mm-hmm. We also have an REM band, a tribute band coming in from Pittsburgh. So, we're doing some of the stuff that we normally do at our normal ticket pricing, but still having a lot of fun with it. And our crowd now has already seen that we're doing everything safely, and they can feel very safe here.
How has booking been? It's hard to be planning. It has been like somewhat of a struggle to try to communicate to artists that we're back open, and are they comfortable performing, right now with these like limited capacities, with just the added risk of having a bunch of people together. So from a booking standpoint, has it been difficult talking to some of these groups and trying to let them know that it's safe at Music Box to come play there?
Again, a great question. We're fortunate to have a pretty long list of strong relationships with a lot of bands, both locally and regionally. Mm-hmm. The video I talked about that we made, we've actually been using that with bands. We send them a link to watch the video so they understand what we're doing to keep them safe, to keep our customers safe, and to keep our staff safe. So that's helped, but it has been a challenge. And one of the ways that we've been able to address some of their concerns is we've just said, pare down your band, keep the band a little bit smaller. So there's a little more spacing on the stage for you guys too. And so as the bands have been coming through, they also have been telling us a lot. Oh my gosh, you guys are just doing everything right. Your staff is great. They're wearing masks. Our sound man, greets them at the door wearing a mask and does the whole setup wearing a mask. So yes, it's been something that we've had to develop a communication system with the bands. We've been fortunate to have the video to show them and, overcome their concern. So, and bluntly, we've had a pretty good list of our regular bands who want to postpone their first appearance until, maybe the world gets a little saner.
Right. And you guys have always had a very strong email list. I always get your emails and I'm up to date. And so what new marketing techniques have you really been relying on to try to get people to come back into Music Box? This might be the first show that people have gone to since before March. If you weren't getting out in the wintertime, could be the first show of 2020 that you're going to. So what things are getting people excited about just coming to see live music again?
That we are very fortunate. We have a very large mailing list. And so we've been able to rely on that a lot for filling the available seats in the last couple of weeks. We also are very heavily into social media. We have a very strong young marketing manager who is very good in social media. And we've been pushing out, I think it's almost been 50-50 between messaging about this particular event or concert and messaging about us being safe. We edited a short version of the video and we pushed that out on Facebook and we pushed that out on Instagram. And so we're using the same tools we used before, and we're focusing on messaging that's a mix of, what the concert is, why you should see this show, with a strong component of we're doing this safely. In fact, in the last week, we've kind of started bragging about the fact that we've already done 30 concerts and events. Mm-hmm. And that everybody is finding it to be very safe. So now we're starting to use the number of things we presented as another key messaging point that we're doing this safely. And we now have pretty good experience with doing it safely because we've already had 30 concert events under our belt.
You kind of said before, eventually you'll kind of sit and assess how everything is working financially, but have you been satisfied with the response and the numbers of people that are coming out to these events that you have had?
Well, fortunately, again, with the spacing, we have been filling every seat.
Oh, that's great.
We've been fortunate to date. I think there's been a few events or concerts that we didn't quite fill everyone, but to date, we've been filling. But I think it's actually going to get harder. The news nationwide is so almost horrific how bad the virus has exploded nationwide. I think DeWine, gave a great speech yesterday, trying to get Ohioans, come on, folks, let's take this seriously. Please wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands. This is in our hands now. This is in the public's hands. How we respond, we can help keep the economy going if you just wear a mask. I think it's up to Ohioans to take heed and listen to that message and do a better job at, taking care of themselves and caring for others by wearing masks.
Were you sweating a little bit though yesterday during that press conference? I mean, part of me was like, am I even going to still need to talk to Mike tomorrow? Because who knows, we could go into another shutdown. So is that something that you're concerned about at Music Box if the government does have to intervene again, or we are looking at more restrictions or shutdowns in the future? How do you think you would handle that?
I think we have to handle it. The governor and the state have to take whatever action that they need to take. We will survive. We would, again, shut down as mandated if it's mandated again, and we'll look for when they were allowed to reopen, and I think we would step right back into it. It's a concern, but again, we're fortunate. I think we're in a place where we would be able to survive a second shutdown. I know that is not the case for a lot of businesses. So I'm concerned more for that. We need a vibrant economy. We need people to be working. So I'm more concerned about the bigger picture than, necessarily the music box. So again, I'm with Governor DeWine. Wear your masks.
Yeah. There's been a lot of talk online, just in the music community, about things that venues are going to have to start doing in order to make up for some of the lost revenue based on capacity. And it sounds like, at least for Music Box, your numbers have been cut by half, right? So what are you doing to kind of make up for some of that revenue that is no longer there? Is it just, you got to know that 200 is going to be the max number for when you're making your offers? Or, are you charging more for tickets? What kind of things are you doing to try to make the numbers even out for you?
We weren't in a position and weren't offering like takeout service. So we decided not to jump into something like that. And that's been basically our overall philosophy. We're, one of the things that helps the Music Box financially are private events. We still have about 20 to 25 weddings scheduled between now and the end of the year. And, by making sure that we are doing everything right and keeping, brides to be feeling safe about us, that's how we are going to be able to bridge the financial gap. Make sure that we can still execute some of our private events. And like weddings, like some corporate events, we've gotten a lot of inquiries, believe it or not, for additional events. We have a great rooftop, and it's filling up with outdoor events. So, for us, that is the bridge. Not really having to invent anything new, focus on some of the things we were doing that help us financially, like private events.
For this, I have some questions about the events that you have coming up too. You mentioned the REM tribute band from Pittsburgh. What are you doing to make sure that musicians who are traveling into Cuyahoga County are taking necessary precautions to make sure they're not sick? Do they have to take temperatures before they come to the Music Box, or just, wear masks? And
yeah, we are not taking temperatures of our customers, and we don't intend to. We do a health assessment of every employee every day. We do have a lot of signage around that if you are not feeling well, you should not come in. That we have a big sign right at the front door that says that. So, we expect that customers will, be smart and make correct decisions. Now, we're a little bit fortunate versus, for example, the grog shop. We have an older clientele. Our average age is, probably 10 or 15 years over the average age of what you see at the grog shop. And so they tend to be taking this very seriously. And, I tell you, from day one, even before the city mandate and the state mandate about masks, everybody at the Music Box, all our customers were already arriving with masks on. They, again, I think are a little bit older and responsible and understand that they need to take care of themselves first.
So tell me a little bit about if you have some events that you'd like to talk about that Music Box is having come up. What can people expect in the next couple weeks to be able to participate in besides the Murder Mystery Night and the REM Tribute Band?
Well, one I want to really kind of target, because we added it. We have, around the Black Lives Matter movement, as we looked at shows that we wanted to add something to kind of celebrate one of the great Black artists of all time. So next Saturday, we have a tribute to Stevie Wonder, and we have an amazing band. And so, these are kind of things that we wanted to make sure we were able to add to the schedule to kind of celebrate some of the other issues that are taking place right now. Otherwise, again, our lineup is pretty close to what we typically do. We have some classic rock shows. We have some jazz shows. We have some blues shows. We have a amazing blues player coming in from Chicago in August, mid-August, Toronzo Cannon. He's been here like 4 or 5 times. He's won Bluesman of the Year in Chicago several times. And so, again, our calendar is pretty full. We're doing shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so it's pretty typical stuff for the Music Box. And what I'd encourage you is go on to our website, www.musicboxcle.com, and click on our calendar. I think you'll find some music that you like yourself, and I know you'll find something you'd come enjoy seeing.
And you're also on Facebook. What other sites can people go for more information as well?
Well, again, the key one to me is just our website, because we have an amazing calendar system on our website. We're an all digital ticketing system using flash sheets, the same ticketing system as the queue. And one of the fun things we have on our website is we always have a video of the band. So if you go and take a look, and you might not know a particular band, you can click on and take a look at a video of them and see them playing. So, that's one of I think one of the powerful ways that we sell a lot of tickets is people know what the music is because we put all the information right there. It's very easily accessible.
Thank you so much, Mike, for talking to me today. I had a really great time.
Well, again, appreciate giving us the opportunity to talk about some of this. It is a crazy time for everybody. And I just hope your listeners take the pandemic seriously and wear their mask and respect others and stay safe.
We've been having a lot of talks with them. That was Michael Miller, the Vice President of Music Box Supper Club, located in the Flats at 1148 Main Avenue. You can get more information about them at musicboxcle.com, including a calendar of all of their upcoming events. Next, we chat with Tim Bennett, one of the owners and bartenders at the Winchester Music Tavern, another venue that has made the decision to reopen for live music. They kicked things off with 3 days of local shows, starting on June 26th for 50-seated guests per evening in the back room of the Winchester. They've continued to offer music and pop culture-themed trivia and brunches as well during this time. We start our conversation off with some introductions.
Yeah, my name's Tim. I'm one of the owners and bartenders at the Winchester Music Tavern, located in Lakewood, Ohio on Madison Avenue.
Awesome. And tell me a little bit about the venue.
Well, the venue's been around for a long time. A lot of bands have played there. It was under a different ownership. And then it became the Bevy and Birdtown for a small time. And then myself and 2 other partners purchased, and we reopened as the Winchester and brought it back. And right now we have a full kitchen. We have a nice patio, but we also have a venue side where we host a large variety of music, comedy, drag shows. If you name it, we've pretty much had it in the last 3 years.
So tell me what Winchester's response was to the initial shutdowns back in March, and what has your reopening plan looked like since then?
Our initial response, I think, was mostly just safety and security of everyone. We were very concerned about our staff. We were concerned about our clientele. So our biggest thing was that we wanted to be safe and slow the spread. That was the biggest thing that we were concerned about, that we knew that if we were to shut down, it would inevitably help slow the spread, which could potentially save life. So we were on board 100% with the shutdown. And we were glad when it came time for us to reopen. And since the reopening, we put a lot of things into measure. So we tabled off the entire back of the venue, everything at 6 feet apart. We got rid of a lot of tables in the front tavern, so all of our seating 6 feet apart. Staff are always in masks. We installed hand sanitizers all around the entire building. We also have a staff member on duty at all times who just has a cleaning detail, and that's his job the entire time. He just cleans. That's our biggest thing right now, is just keeping our staff safe and anybody that visits the bar.
How did you guys kind of rephase back into opening? I know that you had, some takeout available at first, and then slowly you've been booking shows again. So kind of tell me like a little bit about that, like what the phasing was like for you.
Yeah, so right now, we opened up the restaurant just basically as a restaurant. We are offering our full menu at curbside pickup. So you can drive up and actually just call ahead and we'll run the food right out to your car. We have a brunch, so we were seating people for that. Normal hours, everything. And then we slowly started to open back up with doing shows and some of our local events. So on Wednesdays, we host a bingo that's sit down in the back of the venue. And same with our shows. So we've hosted a couple local acts. As just sit-down shows, limited seating. I think our max capacity is about 50 people right now. Mm-hmm. First come, first serve. So you get your tickets online, and that guarantees you a seat. And that's just kind of how we've been operating to maintain the back. We had a lot of national acts that were planned for 2020, but obviously with guarantees and stuff, and the band's no longer touring, we've had to postpone almost all of those shows. And along with a lot of local acts, too. We've been postponing shows.
So I know probably about like half of the events that you have up on Facebook are things that were postponed, like you're talking about, but half are new things that are coming up, which is awesome. What were some of the first events that you had at Winchester once you reopened that show space?
We've had a couple local acts that have came through and played. We had Community Shoe last week.
One of my other questions was, because Winchester was operating previously as a bar and a venue space, but I feel like right now we've definitely had to transition more into using these spaces just as like dining areas. So my question is, like, did you guys kind of have to diversify what you had been offering and kind of marketing these events like in a different way now that we're reopened?
Yeah, so, luckily for us, as the Winchester, we were lucky enough to have a full kitchen and a full menu and a great chef in John Haggerty, who hosts a Vegan Monday and a great brunch. So we already had a built-in crowd that was already eating our food and coming in and treating it more like a restaurant. So I feel more for just these solely based music venues that don't necessarily have that option. So for us, it was more of just expanding our dining area into the back and allowing customers that extra space to really spread out and be able to enjoy their meals.
What things have you been doing to get the word out about reopening now as a venue about these shows? I know you guys have a great email list that you are heavy on social media and things like that, but kind of tell me some of the ways that people have been finding out about the events now that it's taking place again.
We have a pretty heavy presence on social media. So a lot of our updated shows come from Facebook, Instagram posts. But like I said, we also have that email list that you can sign up for on our website. Mm-hmm. And that keeps a lot of people updated on. We send out a weekly email about what's going on during that week, so people can get a pretty good idea of what we got going on. And then you'll know, like, because all of our shows are limited, so you'll go on to Big Neon for most of our shows and purchase a ticket, and that's how you know if you'll be able to reserve a seat or not.
And then just for everybody out there who has not been able to visit your website yet, what is your website, or where can they go on Facebook for more information about the Winchester?
Our website's the WinchesterMusicTavern.com, or you can follow us on Instagram at the Winchester Music Tavern or on our Facebook to stay updated with everything.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you so much for talking to me today, Tim. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate you guys. I just wanted to say, like, our number one concern right now is safety and security. So we're really doing our hardest to keep everybody safe and keep the business open. And, we want to see independent music venues thrive right now. So we're asking for a lot of people to come out and support. And we thank everybody that did come out and keep us afloat during this pandemic.
Thank you very, very much. That was Tim Bennett from the Winchester Music Tavern, located at 12112 Madison Avenue in Lakewood, Ohio. They've been offering indoor and outdoor brunches since May 22nd and adding in live events during brunch since June 1st of this year, with more special events planned for the future, including Modern Kicks live comedy, 9 o'clock on Wednesdays, and more. For more information about them, you can visit them on Facebook at facebook.com/The Winchester Music Tavern. We're going to conclude today with a couple of new songs from Cleveland groups. To start things off, this is John's Little Sister, the track The Night Is Still Young. You can watch a brand new music video up for this on their YouTube page.
It's quiet time and shifts to reload. Blanket clouds dress down the ground in graves. Before you know, the open sky sparks silver light. The rain, it comes down cold to kiss the earth and watch it turn to gold. Grows long and tall in places no one goes. Whispering leaves dance with the breeze in grace the whole way home. The open sky sparks silver light. The stars put on their show to kiss the earth and watch it turn to gold.
All right, I got one more for you tonight. From the band Oregon Space Trail of Doom, we have a brand new song called Portrait on a Wall Part 1. Just came out in May of this year on their Spotify channel. Oregon Space Trail of Jazz, another kind of incarnation of the same band, played the Spotted Owl live stream on July 15th, and they're going to be hosting the Reclamation Band on July 21st via Live at the Spotted Owl. You can find more information on the Spotted Owl's Facebook page, facebook.com/spottedowlbar. I would encourage people to go watch this. It's online now for free on their YouTube channel or from Facebook. But in the meantime, we're going to listen to this new song for you here on Live from Cleveland. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We will see you back here next week on WRUW-FM from 10 to 11 p.m. I'm your host, Rachel H.
is yours.